Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. This video is something that I've been looking forward to doing for a little while now. I have been gifted a Mira Fertility Analyser to try out and to share with you guys. You might have seen on my Instagram stories I did a bit of an unboxing the other day, and I also shared with you a discount code that Mira have very generously offered me. So I will put a link in the description box for you, and the discount code if you want 10% off their starter kit, which is what I'm sharing with you today, is Rosie. I am going to do a little bit of an unboxing today just to show you exactly what comes in the box, and I'm also going to do the initial setup because I've downloaded the app and it's telling me that I will need to test in the next couple of days, so I want to have it all set up and ready to go for when that day comes. So, the box. In my starter kit box I've received one box of Mira Fertility Plus wands. So these wands are individually packaged and they are unique to Mira. Also in this box are these tiny little adorable pots. So these are so that you don't have to kind of start using household ramekins and things to put your urine sample in. So you just take one of these little pots, do your sample, and then you can get a proper dip with your stick. I will be sharing this entire process with you in much more detail as I go on, so please don't panic that I haven't opened it up. I just don't want to waste a stick. So I will be showing the process as I go through the next month, tracking exactly when the app tells me to track, and the results and everything I'm going to be sharing in this video. So that is the sticks. This is the box that the analyzer comes in. It's really neat, really small and compact, and then when you open it, it's just got a magnetic closure. You've got a little starter card, a charging cable, and this is the analyzer. It comes in this little pouch, and inside is the analyzer itself. So this analyzer, just for a bit of kind of background information, can be used, yes, for trying to conceive, for tracking your hormones and telling you when your fertile window is, but it can also be used for trying to avoid pregnancy. If you are aware of when your fertile window is, then you can avoid that time. It can also be used for tracking unpredictable cycles. For example, if you have polycystic ovaries and unpredictable cycles in that respect, or if your cycles are just normalizing after having a baby, it can be used to give you a bit more insight into what your body is doing. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to see what kind of information it's going to give me over the next month. So initial setup, I'm going to do this, I'm going to screen record it on my phone, and I'm going to show you all at once, so you're not going to be looking at my face anymore. So the first thing you obviously need to do is charge it. So I'm going to leave that to charge now, and then I will continue with the rest of the setup. Press button to confirm connection, so I'm going to do that. So that's it, that is the analyzer all set up. That was really simple. I literally just turned it on and told my phone to connect to it, and it did. That was really simple. So that's all set up now. So I'm now going to wait until the app tells me it is a test day. There is also places in the app for you to input symptoms, if you've had sexual intercourse, if your boobs are sore, any kind of, there's all sorts of information. You can put in things about your basal body temperature, your weight, your mood, things like that. So there is lots of opportunity to input information on the app itself. There is also a graph that will plot my hormone levels, so that's really interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to work, and I'm going to start testing this week as and when the app tells me to do it, and we will see how we get on. Hello you guys, so I am on a day off today and I thought I would touch base with you guys as to how I'm getting on with the Mira Analyzer. I am now 5 days into testing with it. I've done 4 tests. So the way that it works is essentially the app gathers information and tells you which days you should test. It puts a little circle under the date, and then when you test on that date, it fills in the circle. The days that don't have circles on, it isn't recommending that you test. So with the first cycle, the app asks you information about your previous cycles, so the date of your last period, how long your cycles tend to be, how long your periods tend to be, things like that, just so that it's got a kind of baseline information to work off, and it gives you a prediction based on that and tells you when to test. So a bit of background information for those of you who aren't aware. Generally, you have a window of fertility of about 6 to 7 days. So that takes into account the fact that sperm can live for up to about 5 days. And then once the egg is released, once you ovulate, your egg can survive for 24 to 48 hours. So you generally are fertile the 4 to 5 days before you ovulate, and then up to a couple of days after you ovulate. So if you are able to identify correctly when you ovulate, that then gives you the information to be able to identify when your fertile window is, whether you're using that information to avoid pregnancy or whether you're using that information to conceive. Knowing when that window is completely key. So I'm now 4 tests in to using the Mira Analyser, and today I think I have identified a peak. So again, for those of you who aren't aware, your hormone levels peak just before you ovulate. So that is your estrogen and your luteinizing hormone. Now, the ovulation strips that you can get tend to only test for luteinizing hormone, which peaks 12 to 24 hours before you ovulate. It is the hormone that essentially says off you go to the egg and causes you to ovulate. So if you can identify a peak in the luteinizing hormone, you're going to have a pretty good idea of when you're going to ovulate. Your estrogen levels also peak before you ovulate. Sometimes it's before the luteinizing hormone peaks, and sometimes it is at the same time, but the estrogen levels also peak. And today I have seen an absolutely insane peak. I'm actually going to move across, and I'm going to insert here a screenshot that I've taken on my phone of my chart today. So when you test with the Mira Analyser, it automatically syncs the results onto your phone and plots them in this chart. So as you can see, I have got 4 test readings. There was a day when it didn't tell me to test. As you can see, there is a slow incline and then a massive peak today. So I'm thinking that that's probably my peak. I'm looking forward to seeing what tomorrow's results bring as to whether it goes up even further or whether it comes back down again. The Mira app I've seen on other people's videos on YouTube that I think the software used to say whether your reading was low or high, and now it doesn't do that, but it does have a feature in the app where it shows you normal ranges. And I think that that's actually a really good thing, that it doesn't tell you, oh, this is a low reading, this is a high reading, because actually all women's bodies are different. And so a reading that would be high for me actually would be reasonably low for you, or vice versa. And so I think it's taking into account that every woman is different, which is really, really good. So the app is constantly learning. So this month is giving the app the first bits of information that it needs. So then next month, the predictions for my fertile window will be a little bit more accurate than they are this month, because this month they're based on estimates of what I've put in as my last period and how long my cycle tends to be. But actually next month it's going to be based on the actual hormone readings from this month. So I think it's one of those things that's actually going to get more accurate with time, which is quite good. So far, I'm really, really impressed. I'm finding it really, really interesting that it's giving me so much information about what my body's doing. And I think it's really clever that my body's doing all of this without me even knowing, which sounds stupid because obviously it is, but it's not something that I'd ever given a huge amount of thought to. So I'm finding that really, really interesting. Doing the test itself isn't that complicated. It's just a case of turning it on, unwrapping the wand, dipping it for 10 seconds. You take the cap off one end, put it on the other, and then put the stick into the machine and leave it for 16 minutes. It beeps when it's done and it syncs automatically to your phone. So I'm finding that quite easy to fit into my morning routine. It's not kind of offset anything. I also think comparing to things like ovulation sticks, where you've got 2 lines and if one line's darker than the other, then it means one thing, and if it's not, then it means something else, is kind of open to interpretation. Whereas I'm really liking the fact that it gives you a numerical value, and you know actually that is a peak. I can physically see it on a chart. I know that that is my luteinizing hormone peak. I know I'm going to ovulate in the next 12 to 24 hours. And that is so much easier to read and so much more concrete than looking at a stick and going, is that line darker than that? Oh, I'm not sure. So yeah, so far so good. It's giving me lots of information. I'm finding it really, really interesting. It's not too complicated. The app, I think, is telling me to test another 4 or 5 times this cycle, and then that's it. So we will see what kind of information it gives me, but so far I'm finding it really, really interesting and very, very easy to use. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. Hello you guys, so it's been another week and I thought I would sit down and give you a bit of an overview. I have now finished all my tests that the analyzer has asked me to do, and I am really, really impressed. I think that the information that the analyzer has given me over the course of this month has been really, really interesting, and I've actually found it quite empowering to know what my body's doing. I think that overall it's given me a huge insight. It's giving me the opportunity to learn more about my body, and I think that that's really, really important for us to be familiar with what our bodies are doing and be familiar with how it all works. And I think that this product gives us an opportunity to learn a lot about our own bodies, which is really important. I found that it's given me a lot of confidence in what my body's doing and where I'm at in my cycle. The idea of being able to visually see exactly what my hormones are doing is really reassuring, and I think that in comparison to things like ovulation predictor kits where there are 2 lines or a smiley face, this to me gives me a lot more confidence in knowing exactly what my body's doing. And the fact that the app bases the fertile window not on the average woman but based on your own specific readings and gives you the fertile window based on that, it's going to be a lot more accurate. So whether you're using it to avoid pregnancy or whether you're using it to try and conceive, that level of information is going to really, really help, and it's going to be so much more accurate. Tracking your cycle on apps is very useful, but actually it's going to be based on an algorithm of the average woman, and actually not many women are the average woman in terms of their cycle, and I think that's where the Mira comes in because it is so individualized, which is fab. In total, this cycle, the app asked me to test 9 times. I did 9 tests, and I think that actually probably in subsequent cycles it might ask me to test a little bit less, but obviously because this was the first cycle that I was using it, I think there's probably quite a lot of information gathering going on. And it will mean that for subsequent cycles my predictions are more accurate, which is really, really good. I think the fact that it learns about you as you go on is really useful. The only thing that sticks out to me as not such a positive thing is the price. I think that the price absolutely matches the product. I think it is a very high-tech piece of kit, but it is pricey at over £150. It's not going to appeal to everyone, but actually from using it, I've found that the price is probably warranted because of the information that it gives you and because of the accuracy. It's lab quality testing, so it is giving you more than you're going to get from something a bit cheaper, something that you just kind of get a smiley face or a couple of lines. It is a much higher spec product, so I do think that the price is warranted because it's such a high-tech product, but it is a higher range price, so that isn't going to appeal to everyone. That said, I have found it incredibly interesting. I've found it really useful. I found it so easy to use, and it has been a really, really positive experience, and I will continue using it moving forward. I think it is a fantastic product. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I do have a discount code, and I'm going to leave a link in the description box for you so you can get 10% off if you want to try one. I really, really hope that you found this video interesting. I've tried to share as much information as I can, but if you have any questions, please, please, please do leave me comments below and I will answer them as soon as I possibly can. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you for the next one.